On October 2nd, 2006, one of the most shocking attacks on a school in U.S. history occurred at the West Nickel Mines Amish School, a small one-room schoolhouse in Bart Township, Lancaster County, in Pennsylvania. The shooter was Charles Carl Roberts, a 32-year-old non-Amish local milk truck driver with no previous violent history. He entered the school armed with guns, tools, restraint, and supplies, indicating careful premeditation. Roberts released all the boys, a pregnant woman, and several staff members from his detention, but kept 10 girls, ages ranging from 6 to 13 years old, as hostages. He barricaded the doors with boards and wires, then lined up the girls at the chalkboard. Before police could breach the building, Roberts opened fire, shooting all 10 girls, and then died by suicide inside the schoolhouse. Of the 10 girls shot, 5 died. One girl died at the scene, shot in the head almost instantly. 4 others died in hospitals, the ones used being Lancaster General, Penn State Milton, Hershey Medical Center. 5 girls survived, all injured, but eventually being released weeks later after intensive treatment. The shooter left suicide notes and made statements indicating long-standing depression, anger toward God following the death of his infant daughter in 1997, sexual intrusive thoughts, a desire to avenge perceived injustices in his life. There was no connection to the Amish community. The girls were chosen solely because they were present and vulnerable. A teacher managed to escape and call 911 somehow. State police arrived within minutes and attempted to start negotiations with this suspect. Roberts warned them he would start shooting. When the breach was initiated, he fired rapidly. The entire attack lasted only minutes after police arrival. Bodies were examined at the Lancaster County Forensic Center. The girl who died at the scene was shot in the head and died almost instantly. She only bled, still alive, for a few seconds. Charles Roberts shot himself in the head. He did not die instantly. He slowly bled to death from the injury at the schoolhouse. The causes of death for 5 of the girls was rude gunshot wound to the head, meaning they did not die instantly. They died of blood loss moments after being shot. The cause of death for Roberts, self-inflicted gunshot wound. The Amish community's response became a defining story in the tragedy. Families forgave Roberts publicly the same day. Many attended his funeral. They established charitable funds for his widow and children. The community discouraged bitterness, media attention, and political debates, focusing on healing and religious principles. The one-room schoolhouse was demolished 3 days after the shooting, at the request of the Amish, and a new school was built nearby. No criminal trial took place as the shooter was dead. No civil lawsuits were ever filed, respecting the Amish principles of forgiveness and non-litigation. State-level safety reviews and emergency response policy changes were implemented, but these were administrative, not court cases. The nickel mine shooting remains a tragic and widely studied example of violence against schools, the challenges of rural law enforcement response, the psychology of suicidal mass shooters, the Amish commitment to forgiveness over retribution. It is remembered that not only for the brutality of the act, but also for the extraordinary compassion and grace shown by the Amish families in its aftermath. It is hard to understand why somebody would want to do this to an innocent group of people who express the life and example that we should be following, but we have a hard time doing so. There is most likely no other groups as innocent as the Amish and Mennonites. And to commit this act in their school, one of the most holy schools in all America. Yes, it is understandable if someone walks into a public school to shoot it up because there have been lots of malicious fiends occurring within them, as well as a few private schools funded by government money. But an Amish school, they try their best to be positive. They welcome anybody into their community. Therefore, it's hard to understand why someone would want to commit a massacre there. Anyways, may all affected rest in peace. Peace be upon those who survived but are still scarred. Thank you for listening to this story of Strawberry Ink. Till next time, take care, stay safe, and have a good rest of your day.